Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another review, and today I'm taking a look at one of the oddest looking Gunpla kits I have ever seen, and as you can tell from the box, it's also Premium Bandai. This right here is the high-grade Dictys Callisto of Light Custom, and this is from Crossbone Gundam. If you do want one of these absolutely ridiculously unique kits of your own, then I got mine through Buyee. You can get yours through there, and as usual, there will be a link down there in the description. Now here we go. So that right there is the Dictys just out of the box and snapped together, and I have to say, this is one unique Gunpla. And the thing that stands out to me the most is, well, I have never seen a Gundam kit before just straight half and half down the middle like this. This is pretty cool. On top of this, this is one of the shiniest kits I have ever laid my eyes on. So one of the first things I can definitely say about this kit is the plastic is very impressive. Sure, the gold is that kind of metallic injection. You know that by now. You either like it or you hate it. It looks fine here. It goes well with that shiny finish. The gray is in your standard Bandai plastic, so that is a kind of semi-gloss, so it's a nice contrast against the high gloss of the rest of the armor. For me, one of the biggest letdowns has to be the amount of hollow parts on the claws. The claws are such a cool concept that they instantly grab your attention, and what you will more than likely notice is the fact that they are just absolutely ridiculously rife with hollow sections. That is just a cost-cutting measure. That is not what they're meant to look like, and that is definitely disappointing. Especially because on the whole this kit has a lot of unique detail, like these sections popping out on the back here through that kind of almost cloak-like section, and probably one of its most striking features is that half and half mask. Inside of that we do have a sticker for that little eye. As far as I know, that is the only sticker on this kit, so that isn't so bad. And that other thing right there that looks like a big old eyeball, that is a hyper beam launcher as far as I know, or hyper beam cannon, but that straight up looks like an eyeball. And that's cool. The high gloss finish isn't without its woes though, because it is hard to clean up the nubs without screwing up that finish. You might have to grab your gloss top coat to fix some of your sanding issues. But generally, on the whole, it's not so bad. This is a very nice kit, and once again, this is built from the ground up for Premium Bandai. Next up, there's that full 360-degree spin, so you can see absolutely every angle of the Dictys right here. One of the most unique looking Gundam mobile suits I have ever seen. And it's hard to accept that this is actually from the Universal Century. What you see where Jims exists, Zaku's exist, more real robots like the Ground Gundam, this is from the exact same universe. Sure, Crossbone Gundam does get a little bit crazy, so it's not too hard to swallow. The pilot of this is also half and half white and purple. This is the Callisto of Light version. There's also Callisto of Shadow. I'm not sure if we'll ever get that kit, but this kit transforms into a hand, and the other one is the other hand. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So there it is, side by side with the standard OG Gundam, so that's the size they'd be side by side if they were facing off, so it's a big-ish kit. There it is side by side with a smaller scale Gundam, that of course is the Crossbone, and there it is beside a large kit in the same scale range, and that of course is the real grade Sazabi. So moving on to that shelf presence test, and I did throw on a couple of the effect parts because this kit really packs in some huge green effect parts, and it's only natural to show them at this point. So this definitely does dominate a shelf. This shelf right here is mainly master grade, so those are bigger scale model kits than this is, and it still holds its own. That high contrast dual color look matched with how much this can flare out in multiple directions, and those effect parts means this will not be missed in a collection, and it looks pretty cool in there to boot. And speaking of those effect parts, every single runner of this kit is new for 2020, so this is another built from the ground up P Bandai kit, which is nuts. The only thing that isn't new for this year is the effect parts, which are from 2018 from the high grade Love Phantom, if I'm not mistaken, and more than likely these are going to be used in an upcoming high grade Death Scythe. So we have 4 of those runners for those effects, and we do have some beam sabers from 2013, but let's talk about the accessories right now. So moving on to the accessories now, and here's the high grade Dictys with absolutely everything that it comes with, and this comes with quite a lot, as you can see here. Quite a lot of, well, vigorous effect parts. How Crossbone of it. So once again, what we've got is all of the effect parts. Some effect parts here attached to this axe. 2 standard beam sabers in yellow. Some parts back here for parts forming it into the mobile armor mode. And if you don't know anything about the Dictys, you might be a little bit surprised to find out that the mobile armor mode is a hand. I shit you not, a hand. We'll take a look at that a little bit later on, but for now, let's check out all of the the accessories. As for the stickers right here, these are pretty straightforward. So we've got 3 of those for using inside the head here. As you can see, there is a little red dot for the eye looking out from inside of that mask, and that's what these are. The one I used, number 1, that is orientating that red dot off to the right, like we can see here. If you use number 2 there, that will make it look out of the white side for looking this direction. And number 3 there can be used with the number 4 dots to make it look any way that you like. Like I mentioned, we've got a pair of beam sabers in here, but we only need the one. Goodbye you. And these are for using in that eyeball looking mega particle cannon up here that just pops on in like so to make it look like it's shooting its mega particle cannon. So that is pretty simple, but it is very effective. Looking nice. Next up in here, we've got that axe, pretty plain looking at first. This has not been panel lined, as you can tell. It is in that super shiny gloss plastic once again. To attach that, just off with the right hand. Attach that in super classic high grade sandwich style, and then just pop the hand back in like so. So this can be displayed without the beam effect like that, or with the beam effect just like that. So there is a quick example of it attached with that beam effect in full flaring awesomeness. I have to say, that looks pretty cool. If that wasn't cool enough, this also packs in some death side sides, and it doesn't just have 1 of them, it doesn't just have 2 of them, it doesn't just have 3 of them, it has a massive total of 4. So these can be popped into the claws just like this, so that is pretty badass, I have to say. That gives this such a giant pincer type attack. I mean, seriously, look at the range of attack here, from all the way out there, all the way in like so. That is awesome. If that wasn't enough, those big old feet aren't just for show. You can also pop them in here and in here, and that is absolutely ridiculous, and ridiculous in the good way. Once again, there's a quick example of what it would look like up on a shelf with all those effect parts going, and that looks so cool. If you place this in the right spot, it will really catch that light and stand out. This is a pretty awesome kit. As for the last couple of bits in here, these are actually for the parts formation to mobile armor, so we'll take a look at those after the articulation. But before I do that, there is a couple of other onboard weapons on the Dictis. First up, we've got a couple of beam guns up on this upper section of armor near the shoulder. And as far as I know, these back here are funnels, but they do not come out on this particular model kit. So now moving on to the articulation, and as usual from the head down, whichever head you like. Actually, technically only that one's a head, but here we go. So I'm sure it probably goes without saying, but there is no giggity giggity here. This head is actually jointed, so you can spin it around at that point up there. You can pull it out ever so slightly, like what you're seeing right there. So it can kind of look side to side, like what you're seeing right now. So hey, more than I thought they'd be. The mega particle cannon up here that does not move, but it's on the same joint, so I assume in future we're going to see the reverse color of this, which is the Callisto of Shadow version. At the shoulder up here, we've got a polycap that's orientated to move up and down. Inside of that is a ball joint, so it gives you that. In total, there's some great articulation here. The shoulder is attached to the arm, so these two move together, but you can kind of make them move independently if you hold on to the arm. This segment up here can move all the way from down there, all the way to there, so very nice. As for the arm then, when the shoulder is stationary, it can move all the way from there to there, so again, this is nice. Simple, but effective. There is the bend at the elbow. Lovely. Exactly the same on both sides, in case you're curious. Full rotation here at the upper arm. Both the upper and lower section of this claw can open and close, and it is quite robust, so you can probably pick up some other gunpowder with it. The other side is just one section, but we get pretty much the same from this. This cape-like armor back here that can, well, move up and down like this, so it will never get in the way of your poses. We've got a nice dichromatic ball joint inside of here. Just pop that on top, and although this is quite simple, it is effective, and also it is very, very tight, so you'll get what you want there. So ab crunch to the front, all the way to the back. Are you still attached? All the way to the back, all the way to the front. The waist joint in here is just a static peg, so nothing moves inside the waist. As for the kicks, there it is, all the way up to the front. There we get it, all the way to the back, so it does get a little bit blocked by that unless you rotate him to get that all the way up. As for the splits, it can pull it off no bother at all. Full rotation then at the upper leg. Next up there is our bend at the knee. Ooh, beautiful. Look at that. Nice. And the ankle here is a bit of a combination joint. So we have just forward and back there, then a ball joint for the ankle. So as for what we get on the ground from that is all the way to the front, so next to non-existent. There's to the back, so quite nice. There is side to side, and this is a primarily space use mobile suit, so I guess those ground poses don't matter all that much. Also, I will mention this is extremely solid, so it will drop the arm a little bit, but besides that, solid as a rock. So this right here is a crazy looking little kit with a lot of range of motion in all of its joints with nothing really that gets in the way. So the posing possibilities here are quite great. And it also looks ridiculous all the time in a good way. But speaking of ridiculous, it's time to transform this right here to mobile armor mode, and this is incredibly simple. To do this, you just disconnect the arms at the shoulder. They just pop down like this. Do that on both sides. There is that side. You parts form the chest by popping those off like that. That is okay. But the weirdest parts formation is what you do with the head here. So the new chest just pops on like that. It just keeps the arms in place as fingers. But at the neck, we've got this neck extender, which is meant to make the head look like a thumb, but I don't know, man. that's some creepy looking crap right there. So you can already see this is coming together. You just then move the thumb in there like that, so it becomes one with the armor, and then you just orientate everything to look like fingers. Just bend them around the other way, try and get that looking like a hand. This is the thumb, and that is creepy. Around the back of this tank-like section here, we've got this pop-off part, pops off very simply, and this is where you attach your action base. So it just pops into the hole. This does not come included, by the way. This one doesn't even fit. Never mind, go away with you. And there we go. Just check that out. It's time for a spin again, I think. So that right there is the full 360 spin of this in mobile armor mode, and this is just a big old hand. This is nuts. I adore this. It looks so weird. At first I'm like, this doesn't seem very Universal Century-like, but then I think back to the original Gundam series, which had stuff like this Zachrello. That thing was weird as hell, and this kind of fits right in with that sort of design. It's weird, it's pretty big, it's purple and white split down the middle, it's got an eyeball near its palm, it's got the weirdest looking thumb. You can actually use it with the beam effects as well. This whole thing is crazy. And just speaking of the beam effects, there it is with those attached, and I have to say this right here without a single doubt is a gold tier Gunpla. That means it is a lot better than I would expect from high grade, and it is a lot more than I expected from this kit. It's glossy, it looks fantastic, it's solid, it's extremely unique with that two-tone color, and it's one of the weirdest high grades out there. If you love yourself the Crossbone manga, if you love this particular kit, you have to get your hands on it. It looks incredible. Honestly, the only downside I could say about it is that it does not have an action base included, because this does need a fairly robust action base or it will just, well, fall off. As usual, if you do want one of these of your own, there's a link down there in the description. You can get yours through Buy. That is where I got mine. Thanks for watching, and make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews. I'll see you next time.